Welcome back to the Channel Tony Show. My name is Tony. I'm here with
Michelle.
and yeah, this this episode is going to be all about a very controversial topic that I think has been like the main topic of like the world for a long time, and that is gender equality. That's basically the man versus the woman, right? I know we're all familiar with the saying that what a man can do a woman can do better, right? So this is a controversy that has basically spiked a lot of, things, a lot of problems between the two races, between the two genders, basically. And like, I for one, yeah, before you start thinking that, oh, I am a man, and that's why I'm probably thinking this way. I personally do think that there is not, it's not possible for you to be gender equality, but rather more like I'm more open to the idea of gender equity because in as much as equality basically means you having two abilities that are equal to each other,
Yeah.
right? But men and women have no what is it called, abilities that are almost as equal to each other as supposed. Like men are strong and women are fickle and weak, and they're not as strong as men. Do you understand? So you cannot equalize. You can't be saying that oh it's equal and stuff like that. But where equity comes in is giving fair, like what would I say, fair characterization to each other's personalities, each other's like strengths. Like men are for one are like more stronger, they are more caring. Like men are just more of the man, like their manly version brings about a lot of things that they have basically their own strengths, and then this other women's strengths are theirs. And so I feel like everybody should be given their own fair opportunity. But then if you're coming to fight for equality, a lot of things that men do, women can't do it. And yeah, there are a lot of things that women can do, men can't do. But it's just the idea of this women, what women can do, women can do better. I feel like it's like it's false because if you're actually looking at it from a reasonable point of view, everything a woman can do, a man can do it better. Do
Yeah.
you understand? So a man can do it and most likely do it better. So like it's just there's nothing like gender equality if I was to like put in this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's this thing of society likes to, present itself as this heavenly and righteous body, right? So that is why they'll come out and basically drop something as stupid as men and women are equal.
Yes.
Understand? So that they'll look like this. Society it just try to be perfect in the eyes of the people. It doesn't even care what the information they're feeding you. Like, how can you basically say that men and women we are not equal, right? Now, do we deserve equal rights? Yes, we do. No way women shouldn't be like, denied any rights that men have, and vice versa. And women shouldn't be treated in a particular way because they are women and the other gender is men. You understand? But like, you have to understand that men and women are not equal.
Yes.
Men has more crucial role to play. It is not like I'm not like trying to overgrade men. It is just how it is. It is just what it is. Like, it's not basically what I want it to be or anything like that. It's just basically men have more crucial roles to play than women. You understand? Like, check your family now. When things are not going well in the family, what happens? Who they call? They don't call the woman. They call the man. Because yes, it is the job of the man to provide and do all those things. You understand? And the women also have their own duties and their own rules. When something bad happens, like when a person comes to attack, or when we're talking about life or death situations,
Yes.
then men are now expected to be men, right? When Afghanistan was under attack, they said all the men from age 18 to 60 are not allowed to leave the country, while women and children, I mean age 18 to 60, they were not allowed to leave the country, while women and children, they were basically encouraged to flee. So I think I'm not like trying to complain that, okay, why didn't they allow us to leave the country, blah blah blah. I think that is what men are. We're those natural fighters, we're those natural warriors, we're those natural providers. We have more crucial roles to play than women. You understand? You coming out and saying that okay, men and women are equal. We are not in any way equal. Yes, women have very important. My mother is a woman. You understand? I don't know how I'll be today without her. Women have very, very important roles to play. They have their own role. Men have their own role. By the end of the day, if you want to compare and contrast, you see that of a man is more hectic. You see that of a man is bigger. That of a man is harder. That of a man is basically another different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just basically different. So like it's not like an insult. I don't know. We need to just learn to get comfortable with the truth
Yeah,
sometimes.
and the thing about men, the thing about this whole gender equality, I talked about that. I said the word gender equality should not be used. I feel like it should be equity because giving everybody its own fair share of like, yes, this is your strength, basically like acknowledging each other's strengths, and that's equity, right? Being fair to each and every one of us. But then if you're looking at everybody's strengths, you see that one person's strength is more superior to the other. Do
Yeah,
you understand? Because if you're going to compare now, you're doing comparison between each other's strengths. Your strong is like, it's like if you're watching the Premier League, right?
yeah,
The best team,
yeah,
right, in the championship was last season could have been maybe Burnley or something, right? And then in the Premier League it was Liverpool, right? Each other's like each of the two teams basically they came first in their respective leagues, right?
yeah,
But if you're going to compare the teams, Liverpool is more stronger.
yeah,
Like Liverpool squad is like much stronger, much better than what's it called? Than Burnley scored, right?
yeah.
But each
Each of
other
them came first.
faced in their respective leagues.
Yeah,
It's just like that's just basically what men and women are. It's just if you're going to now compare those qualities, those characteristics, you find out that men are more superior. And so if you're calling for gender equality, you're just wasting your time. Gender equity is where you should just like basically be basically be more like putting the ideas like stop saying equality like a man should be given a woman should be given certain things a man is basically it's not the way it is. There's a reason why men run the show. There's a reason why men it's a man's world. There's a reason why it's like that. There's a reason why everything is that because in as much as yes the countries might not be the best, it's just if you put a woman there, right? If you put a woman there, it's not going to be as well run as it will be a man. Like the men just have natural qualities to guide and lead. And that has been like that is why every man that is basically has a family is seen as the head
the
of the
head of the
family
family.
because he's expected to lead. So it's natural to see men in leaders in like in multiple leadership roles. Do you understand? So people just tend to like put on this agenda about like
Yeah,
women having to
to in order to
yeah
look righteous and
yeah
pure and fair and all those
there
shit.
was there was there was a, like a, there was basically a world where women was like yes men are basically like at the head of the family and everything, and then there was another world where women were basically fighting for rights for men. Now it is women are now basically becoming men. Like it's just this like the idea behind this whole sparked of controversy is just is boiling into the heads of women because like naturally men have been in a situation men basically like should I just basically see how fatal woman's like the mind of a woman is? Someone just comes out and tells you that, oh, yes, you are meant to be a man and a woman should be given equal rights. Who told you guys we're not given equal rights? Okay, I get that. Yes, some there were things that were done to women that women were
Yeah,
being forced to. They believe that they need rights. But if you're talking about equal rights, you're talking about from the human aspect of life. Everybody's human, right? That's the
yeah,
only place you can now basically say yes, everybody should be given equal rights. But you're not
correct.
characterizing each of them as human beings. We're not talking about from the strength that each other shares. There's a man and there's a woman. I'm talking about the qualities of a man and the qualities of a woman. So if you're using the idea of equal rights to now judge that man and woman, it's like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Yes, you're a human being, so you have every right to equal rights. But as a woman, there are things that you're not like equal rights. Equal rights does not also encompass like you having to sharing the leadership roles or making a man be the president and the woman be the vice president or the woman be the vice president and the man. It's not. It doesn't have to be shared. Do you understand?
mm,
These are things women should be found in like places where they're just meant to caretake you take care of like basically like not run issue, but like just be there to supervise and cater. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Whereas men are to run the show, lead by example, basically they're just the head, right? They're the figures above, they're the leaders, they're the forefront, they're meant to be the ones we're looking at and be like, yo, these are the people that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
leading us. And women should just be catering because that's what their strength basically is. So if it's not like a football, like if you're playing football and then I'm in nine, like throughout my academic years and maybe when I was growing, I was built to be in nine.
Yeah.
And then I come to a club where I'm being told that with even my strength as a nine, I'm supposed to go and play in the DM, right?
Yeah.
So the DM does not show up my strengths. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The DM does not show up my strengths, right? So it's just basically the idea of this man and woman stuff. A woman has been built in that in that scenario. It's just natural for them to to be a caretaker of and basically give love, right? Show affection, right? That is just the job of the woman, right? And that is where her strength is. So it is not easier for you to be placed in roles where your strength is being made use of, rather than you having to go through double efforts. You
Yeah.
find yourself in a role where you need to do double down, do double the work. Do you understand?
Yeah. I think what the problem is that like I think the reason why that thing came about is that women don't tend to acknowledge their roles. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
For example, like you said, theirs is basically to nurture, right?
Yes.
To take care, to look over, to watch. You understand? Why men just basically lead. Now you're not going to be like or maybe a girl listening to this might be like, but why can't women lead? Why can't like your own? Do you know how important your own role is?
Yeah.
And do you know the type of imbalance you're now trying to cause by doing that? This role is your role is without you there will be no humanity. We even as we are conversing this argument, we haven't acknowledging the fact like you like I think that they'll now be trying to like chase the natural rules men were given. You understand? Then they'll
Yes.
now be like this that you people have natural rules to play. You understand? You just basically have like natural rules to play. Men have basically have natural rules to play.
Yeah.
Like so, these men and women are equal. It's bullshit and it's crap. You understand? Both of them, they have their own worth. You understand? Because a family needs both the father and the mother. Exclusion of none. They need them both. You understand? Okay, for this thing about men and women being equal, like I said, they are always equal until things start going south.
Okay.
You understand? When a kidnapper enters the family, breaks into the yard, who is expected to stand up and fight? The man. But when there's no kidnapper, when everywhere is good, men and women are equal. When they throw bomb into a country, women and children are expected to flee. Men are expected to stay back and fight. I'm not like basically trying to complain about our rule, but I'm just trying to tell you that yes, I know that it's basically our
Yeah.
job in quotes to stay back and fight if anything goes wrong. You understand? And it's basically the job of the women and children to flee. And I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to point out to you that okay, if all these things are in place, then why will you come out and say that men and women are equal? We are not equal. You understand? We are basically different. We are different entities. We are unique in our own way. We have each different roles to play for humanity.
Yeah.
You understand? The reason why men run nations is because men are basically the head of families. Men are basically the head of communities. Men are basically the head of societies. Men are basically the head of countries. That is the reason why men run nations. You understand? And I'm not saying that okay, maybe a woman shouldn't come out and try to become the president. You understand? But I'm just trying to point out that in no way are men and women equal. You understand? In no way are men and women basically, equal.
Wait, so yeah, I just wanted to say something about this whole idea because though I told you about there was a world where women basically listened, had no other choice, right? So
Yeah.
listen to the man, and that is the most natural time of like that was the most natural time basically where nature was basically taking its course. Women were not questioning men, right? But that world, it also like brought about a lot of rights hindrances to like women. Basically, women's rights were being hindered upon. Basically, were
Yeah,
being stepped upon. Men could do anything to woman, and women did not have a say. Basically,
yeah,
and that's where the rights, women rights, and women empowerment
yeah.
stuff came
Women
about.
rights are very fucking
Yes.
important. Yeah,
So I feel like, in as much as it is very important and it was very much needed, it is the biggest reason to why women are the way they are today. Because the world was where men were basically the natural leaders and women didn't question men. They just basically did their role as women.
yeah,
Do you understand? Now, I'm not saying that the idea of men stepping upon women's rights was
fair.
fair, but it was just the most natural time. Do you understand?
Yeah,
And the idea of now women having rights, having to now basically say or having a say, which is not, which is like I'm totally fine with it. But I feel like having, when you give women rights or give women sees, they started to feel like they needed more because now they've been able to taste that's basically that, what's it called,
yeah,
that power basically.
yeah,
And that's the problem between, why I see men and women are not the same. Men have been given the power for a long time. They've been able to taste the power for a longer time. So they really understand, it's the power. Having that power isn't like
and
anything
yeah, it's
because
not
it's a
anything to them.
natural
It's just
something to them.
natural. Yeah,
But because women were able to taste the power and how fickle their mindset is, it just started growing in them that they needed to have more. And now you started seeing women go with the idea of equality,
yeah.
sports, you know, whatever. If like woman will be like, yo, a woman should be paid more than
Than a man
a
or
man,
that
or
basic bullshit.
paid the same amount of money a man. If you look at women's sports, women don't generate a lot of income, and yet you still want to be earning the same as LeBron James is earning. Do you understand? You go to the women's league, if you watch women's sports, it's not as interesting as it is. And I was one day I was having against my sister about Serena Williams and women tennis. She was saying, "Oh, women's tennis is good. Like they can even play against men." I'm like, "Yo, women's tennis is good, but there's a reason why it's the best. Like there's this best. There's a reason why there's this best.
Yeah,
Like the best of the best." I'm like, yes, in football we have Ronaldo and Messi, right?
yeah,
But there were times where Ronaldo and Messi, even with them, their team still got lost, like still got beaten, right?
yeah,
But you have someone like Serena Williams. It was until she was getting older that she was getting beaten, and getting beaten was like a normal thing for her. Do you understand?
yeah,
When she was in her prime, it wasn't normal. When Ronaldo and Messi were in their prime, you see how teams like Girona, teams like Valencia that will come up against them and beat their team.
yeah,
So it wasn't that, oh, Ronaldo and Messi were like unstoppable and like no team was stopping them in their prime, like no team was coming to them and beating them. Teams were still beating
yeah.
them.
They were still losing.
The prime Barcelona, teams were still beating them.
Yeah,
Chelsea beat them. Chelsea beat prime Barcelona. Chelsea beat prime PSG. Like his teams were still beating these teams even in their prime. So it was like that is men's sports. And then you had female sports. It wasn't normal for Serena Williams to lose during her prime because she's good and like the gap was so much,
yeah,
which made women's sports less entertaining. But they always use the best to bank on like the idea that the sport was actually good because there was this outright best. Do you
yeah,
understand? Then Serena Williams came online and said, yes, if she played, what's it called, a man, maybe Rafael Nadal, like one of the best. She said that in the first two sets, Rafael Nadal will be up, what's it called, six knots, 6 knots. In the fact, she's probably going to see 1 point at the end. Do you understand?
yeah,
So that's how like the massive gap in men and women's sports, and like you don't see them generating a lot of income as men do. So you now want them to be paid the same as the men. So like I said, the idea behind, oh, women having rights after tasting that power, they just basically started having that feeling that they just need them more, and it just came on that, oh yes, let's be equal to men. Everything that a man should be doing, a woman should have rights
yeah.
to.
Thank you,
And then
thank you. Yeah,
you now started having, from that idea of, okay, women, then to, oh, what if you can't be given the right as men, why can't we just turn to men? Like why can't you just become men? And you started having like of women transitioning to men, men transitioning to women. Like, it was just basically like that idea, and it was
Yeah,
based on that fickle mindset
yeah. Like okay,
women
you,
have.
you remember that video that we watched there? That the guy was cracking a joke, right? He was like, Adam, I was telling Eve that here we are, one with God, one with nature. Everything we have is ours,
Yeah,
and everything we want is ours. But Eve was like, she still wants more.
yeah, it wasn't
You
enough.
understand? That thing now, I think that is just the problem. Not just with Eve, but with women in general. Women now, like just like you're saying now, like they have their own industries where they can easily dominate. Like without even thinking twice.
Yeah,
They have industries where they can dominate. They have places where they can go and they'll basically be unmatched. But this idea of equality, we are equal with men, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Then they'll not be, not that it's bad, sha, but like they'll not be trying to enter industries basically meant for men, and they'll be becoming the second best, or they'll be flopping, or they know. Is that women? There was never a problem with women.
mm,
You understand? Women felt that there was a problem that needed to be fixed, but there was never a problem. If women just continued to be women, right? As time is evolving, as everything is evolving, them too they will evolve, and then they will now, just like the way men dominate in leadership, in sports, in this area, in that area, they also dominate in this area, in that area. I'm not a woman, so I basically don't know, but I'm
yeah,
sure that there will basically be areas where they'll be easily dominating. But then they felt like, okay, there's a problem. Why are they? Why are they doing all these things instead of them to look at, okay, me now, what can I do? You understand? Just like the way the man looked at himself and was like, okay, me, I can do this, I can do that, I can. No, she was. The women were like, why is that only? Why is the only men are doing it and blah blah blah? And then like society has basically now drifted to more of a, like, for example, if you see more people that are getting scholarship, is
yeah,
women. That is, you see more people that are getting scholarship, more people that are getting all these better treatment is women.
women.
But like
Women. The thing about women that they don't understand is they always have it easy. They always have it easy, but yet they still feel like it's not enough. They don't feel like having it easy is the problem.
yeah,
They feel like having it easy is the problem. If you're going to be given that like lifestyle naturally, you're just always going to have it easy. You still feel like it's not enough. You feel like you want to change the status quo of you being woman.
yeah,
Do you understand? It's not natural. It's not normal. It's not a very good mindset. And I feel like it's just because of the tasted power. They tasted power. They feel like yes, we had the chance to taste power, and that is why if you're telling me to this day, would you ever vote a woman into presidency? I will never vote a woman into president.
she's a woman.
Not because she's the no. It's not because she might not be competent, but because she's a woman. And it's not like as if I'm against women or anything. No, I am not against women. We've seen this play out times and times. Women taste power, and the next thing is they feel like they need to have more.
Yeah,
They always feel like they need to have more, and then having tried to always have more always unbalances things.
yeah,
It's always unbalances things. It's always changed, like that balance, that the idea of the balance, like you said, it always tends to go against what is the norms, right?
yeah,
Like now we got complaining about how women want this pushing of equal rights, feminism and everything. We're just telling you that equal rights is not possible, because if you're looking at the characters of a man and a woman, they're totally different,
not
and like
totally
it just
different.
naturally gives it to a man and naturally gives it
Yes,
to a woman, and that's why we believe in gender equity, right? But women tested the idea of equal rights. They now push to the idea of equal rights should also bring about gender equality. Do you understand?
yeah,
And because of that, they're pushing into gender equality too. Now I want to also be a man. What man should do, a woman should do better, a man can do better.
that
And like,
that rubbish that is
yeah,
just
exactly.
basically
So
spread.
that is why if you're giving the woman a power, if you're giving a woman power, if you're giving a woman the chance to lead, she is not going to lead well, because it is the nature of a man to lead. Whether or not he's going to be a correct leader or not is down to the man, right? But it
Mm.
is the nature of the man to lead. And then the moment a woman is put in that scenario to lead, she's not going to lead with the effectiveness of a man.
Yeah, with the natural giving effectiveness a man chooses
Yes,
to lead.
basically. And that's just basically what it is. And then another problem again I have with women is that this entitlement of a thing. Now, I was watching this YouTube right about this guy,
Yeah.
this YouTuber. He said he's small GIO. He was like he was doing a show with women on yachts, basically like a lot of women to be on yachts with him. But then before you could get on the yachts, you have to do like a game, like a Mr. Beast game or something like that, like tug of war and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Women have to compete each other for them to be able to claim their spots
On the yacht.
on the yachts. And then he said he was going to women on this beach, trying to get them to play, trying to get into the game, right?
Yeah.
And then the responses he kept on getting was like, look at me, I don't need to what's it called,
Do
like
the game.
do the game, like I'm already beautiful and everything to be able to get on the yacht, like
Yeah. Let me just get on the yacht.
that was like the entitlement. And then he was already like, no, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. But if you ask a man to do this, men will fight
Yeah.
to their last break to try to get on that yacht. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that is like the willingness of a man to take up certain challenges. But if you see women always believe that, naturally just believe that they have to be there
Yeah. Now
already.
let me remind you of that thing you say now. Like you said, women have things easy.
Yes.
You understand? Like say so like I think they in their mind they basically get to pick. You understand? They basically get to pick when they want it easy and when they don't
I
want
want
it easy.
easy.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like say women like yes, naturally speaking, yeah, a woman shouldn't be playing game and all those things to get on the yacht. You understand? But then you also see women that will be like, we need to enter leadership and we need to do this and we need to do
Yeah.
that. So like they basically get to pick.
Yeah.
You understand? They basically get to pick, okay, this is when we want it easy and this is when we don't want it easy. And if you don't like it, basically just deal with it. That mindset, yeah.
And then the thing is, this guy also said that he's not only going to blame women for having this mentality of entitlement, he's also going to blame the men for rewarding a woman for her beauty and not for what she can offer.
Yeah.
Right? Women gave them the leverage to be able to push for this thing further. Because if we curb the idea of, if we basically like made them understand that equal rights wasn't equal gender equality, do you understand?
Yeah.
If we make them if we basically made them to understand the idea of equal rights, or even gave them the idea of, if men just had to be like reasonable at the point, they were not hindering women's rights and everything. They gave women rights from the beginning, but they still kept the natural like abilities, like that natural life was still basically living. Then I think things would have been better. But men tend to always reward women for their beauty, and they always give them this like stool because he did it for me. So why can't you do it for me? So it's this idea of like it has been done before.
Yeah.
My dad basically always pampered me, and then
Yeah.
basically he disciplined my brothers. And oh, my ex-boyfriend did this for me, so why can't you do it for me? Oh, I had this guy who actually wanted to take me out for the based on what she could offer, or her her being a woman.
Yeah.
What was the idea behind it? Because she's a woman, so women tend to always reward them for their beauty. And then that's the problem. I think that's one of the problems men tend to face, and men are like to be blamed for. Because if men today stop rewarding women for their beauty and start rewarding them for their what they tend to offer,
Yeah.
then you see it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like
Because there was this video I also watched where a woman said, the woman asked her, okay, what would you bring to the table? And the
yeah.
woman said, I'm the table. You
On the
understand? Like,
table.
you don't have qualities to bring to the table, right? That's why you said you're the table. Do you understand? A man will tell you he's gonna give his finance, he's bringing this, he's bringing that, he's bringing qualities that will need to build a family, to build a life with you. And all you're telling him is that, oh, I am going to be the table. You're not going to say, oh, I offer care, I offer affection, I offer
Yeah, that's basically
this.
she's just going to be on the receiving end.
Yeah, she was always going to receive it. So he's waiting for the man to dump things on the table.
And
then
now with that mindset now, then a woman will open her mouth and say men and women are equal.
exactly.
You understand? But you always want the man to be giving. You always want to be receiving. I will never concord to that idea that men and women. Like ask the woman, she's basically going to be tall, handsome, and then a man who can provide.
Yeah.
Right? A man who can provide, because Naturally, it's the job of the men to provide.
Uh-huh.
And if there is no provision in the marriage or in the family wouldn't stand. So like it is the man that is doing the what, the providing. And it is the providing that is making the marriage and the family to stand. Society and country at large. So how on earth are men and women now equal?
It's like I've always like said it's about women don't know what they want. Like this is just going back to our first episode where I said women don't know what they want. One day they tell you that yes, a man should pay child support. The other day, why is a man paying child support? It's like it's crazy. And yeah, I've never seen a case where a man takes a woman to court for child support. I've never seen a case where a woman is being told to pay child support. I've never seen those scenarios. It's never happened, right?
Yeah, only men pay
Men
child
paying child support.
support.
And then you're expected as a woman to also take care of that. It's confusing where the man still has to provide for the man doesn't have a say in whether or not the child is to be born or not, right? Right?
Hmm.
But then he always has a say if the child is born and he has to take like it's confusing because whenever a woman wants to like there was this like argument that a woman could abort the child without the man's basically like
Consent.
consent because it is what the woman's body, right? So she
Yeah.
can do whatever she wants with it. That was the argument. But then the moment the child is born, the man basically has to pay child support. He just has to pay child support.
Yeah.
So make it make sense. You're giving the man no consent to basically his future. You're giving the man no consent to his future. So maybe he wants the child. You end up killing the child. Maybe he doesn't want the child. You end up bringing the child into the world and he's forced to pay child support.
Yeah. Like you see this thing, the problem is now coming from they are trying to, fix a problem that never was.
Yeah.
Like they're now basically, all these rules were set in place to because they thought that women were not given fair treatment.
Exactly.
So they're now trying to give women fair
Fair
treatment,
treatment.
which is now shifting something that was balanced. Women, I won't say maybe they were giving maybe fair treatment include equal rights, maybe to go to school and all those
That's what I
things.
was saying. That's what I was saying.
Thank you. So like they're now trying to fix a problem that never was by giving women fair treatment when women never lacked fair treatment. And in the name of giving women fair treatment, now men are now being treated unfairly.
Exactly.
Do you know how many women organization, women this, women they, all these women thing? The only thing men have is June's men's mental health. I don't know if you ever saw that thing.
Wow.
Like I think that is the only thing, and I think that somebody just had to come out and create it because too many men were committing suicide.
Yeah.
So this thing called June's men's mental health now came out. That is the only thing men have. When you're talking about women organization, when you're talking about women this, women that, you're going to see them flooded all over the world. Women scholarship, women, basically everything about women. The only thing men have is what? June's men's mental health.
And these
Simple.
people, these people bank on the idea that women's mentality is so fickle because you can easily move a woman. You can easily move the mind of a woman. That is where the problem came from. The initial points where men were trying to fix a problem that was not there. Like I said,
Yeah.
the point where now nature was taking its course, but women felt like but then there were some men who were obviously hindering women's rights, and then those women's rights had to be placed. That point was where the transition, like that's what the problem basically came about.
Yeah.
It was now like power, little amount of power was being given to women, and the moment they tasted that power, you had people running in the minds of women telling them that you can be more,
Yeah, you can be more.
you can be more. Just like Eve, the moment she was given that apple, or the moment the semper was trying to basically, he just basically was like,
Yeah,
yo,
it basically started from Eve.
yeah. So it's just the moment they have like power in their eyes, they tend not to see the balance and try to disrupt it, and it's just basically like their mind is always moving from it's always being moved. Like you cannot keep a woman mind as it is because it's so fickle, like, it's so fragile. It's like a cup, like it's like a vase, like a so like glass, like
Yeah.
like glass. It can easily shatter. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's so fickle, it's so fragile, and it is the problem with women. And like I said, the moment they tested power, they started feeling like they can be more, and the idea of now having equal rights, being pushing for this, pushing for this, oh, equality, equality of everything, equality of everything. Then you now have a woman telling you that you don't have a consent to her life, right? But then
Yeah,
the moment her life is basically what she then needs you to basically continue the life, like to continue taking care of the child that you never had
yeah,
a say in, to be whether or not he was to be born or not. And then when I saw this news, the biggest news ever, as like the biggest news I've ever seen, where you had Edward, what's his name? Like Michael Edwards. Sorry, what's his name again? Anthony Edwards.
yeah.
Sorry,
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards' baby mama or something like that. She gave birth, and then he paid the child support up front. He paid all the child support. He paid all the money up front, and then she's had a problem with it. There are men out there that can't pay even for the child support of it, and they've been taken to court, been
Yeah,
asked to pay for it. He then paid for child support
up front.
up front, and you have a problem with it. People are coming out online and bashing him for paying for child support up front. He's literally telling you he doesn't want anything to do with you or that baby, right?
Yeah, and he just paid it up front.
It's just these kind of things are scenarios where you use to tie a man down to, like,
Yeah, make him look bad,
yeah,
and yeah,
you make him
demonize him.
and then the moment he's just telling you that, bro, like, I'm beating the system, I have the money to pay, take the money, go, I don't need you, I don't want you. Women use this idea of child support to basically tie a man, especially when the man is basically like rich and abundant. Like, if
Yeah,
the man sleeps with you one night and then eventually has a child for you, or you have a child for him, you use that idea of child support to tie the man back to your family, basically.
yeah,
Do you understand? But then he did something that men don't really do, which is paying for the
pay
child support
up
of
front.
basically telling you that get the fuck out of my life. I don't want you guys. Do you understand?
Yeah,
You're just someone that I met, and then
it happened.
it happened, and yes. And then you know, like as if you gave me consent to basically go ahead with the
Yeah,
baby. You just went ahead with the baby, and then I'm not for abortion. Like, I don't support abortion, but
abortion.
like
Yeah,
these are things that you, like, if it's legal in some places, you were not men are not even allowed to have consent whether or not the baby should be kept or not. So if I'm not allowed to to have consent or whether or not the baby should be kept or not, why should I still be in your life when my consent is not needed from the start? Do you understand?
yeah,
So first of all, kudos to Anthony Edwards, and for every man that is basically dealing with this idea of child support, why did you in the first place, right, go ahead with sleeping with the woman? It's like you slept with the woman and then you put yourself in a scenario knowing fully well that you're not financially backed to be taking care of children, and they put yourself in that scenario. That men, as much as women are to be blamed in certain cases, men are to be blamed too, because they always give them room for this kind of things to happen.
yeah,
Right? They always give women room to be able to exploit them, to be able to extort them, to be able to behave in a certain way. And in as much as we are also like I said, we should also hold women accountable to certain things. Men should be able to should also be held accountable to every single thing that has basically occurred, right? The idea of women rights and like equal rights and everything is from the initial get go. It's from the problem where you basically gave them the power without being able to regulate that power.
yeah,
Do you understand? And yes, yes, women deserve their rights. Women deserve their rights. But then that idea of human rights should have been stressed on, right?
yeah,
Equal gender rights is not acceptable, it's not possible, right? But then human rights is, that is right to life, right
yeah,
to freedom, right to move around, right to all this, like with 7 million or your right of whatever,
yeah.
whatever.
7 minutes. Yeah.
Yes, that one is human right, and everybody should have
That
what's it
right.
called, that right. But when it comes to man and a woman, it cannot be equal, because we're not considering the equality, they're not considering the qualities each of them has to offer.
Yeah,
The only thing we can do is to give credit to each other's personalities and qualities, right? We can just say, yes, this person is a man. Yes, this one is a woman, and acknowledge that. Acknowledge that.
yeah. Acknowledge it. Like, if for me, if a woman is listening to this thing, for me, the only takeaway you should have from this thing is that you are basically enough,
Yeah.
right? You are enough. Like, even if you want more, like me personally, in my life, I always want more. But like, I don't want more from the perspective of because this gender has more or this
Then
person has more, so why can't I have more?
yeah.
If as a woman, if you want more, good, want more, but don't want more because you're basically like men are there, so why can't I be there? That is now stupidity. You basically have, you are enough. Like, just get the fact that you are basically enough. So stop chasing more.
Yeah.
And society now, in order to put this fairness, when there was no, they were trying to balance something that was already balanced, causing imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the society now, it's now men that are suffering the most. Look at laws have been bent to suit women.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of laws. Look at all these things. Like, you see, like, a woman, like this Anthony Edwards stuff, you see, like, you bend laws and all these things to suit women. Like, just know that you are enough. We have our role to play.
Yeah.
You guys also have your own role to play. Stop. Like, there is no disparity between us. We are both humans, and our cooperation and our coexistence is what makes the world. But when you're now trying to start entering our own industry, you're basically putting the world in an imbalance. And this dissatisfaction thing is starting way back from Eve. Like, that thing I said, they basically had everything, but she wanted more. And is this thing now that will keep? I think is just basically what is doing basically all the women now. It's just basically doing chasing what men were naturally given. And then when you fail at it, you start complaining, and there are things that you were naturally given to. Focus on those parts. Let men focus on our own part.
Yeah.
Understand? I don't even know how safe. I don't know where it came from, but like, it's as if men, we are just like naturally content, right? We know what we can do, we know what we cannot do. What we can do, we focus on it. What we cannot do, we leave it for another day, or we just don't do it at all. And even if you want more, it comes from a point of this person inspired you, or you're motivated by this, or your family is in shambles. So, but like, I think that we just have this natural contempt. We're okay, right? We can never look at women and be like, okay, even upon all the laws now, you understand, even upon everything that is happening now, have you ever seen a man that was like, for once, why is there no any man's human rights
Yeah.
or these things, or why is there no this care that is given to women? Or we don't complain. Even if we do complain, we're not going to complain from the comparison with women. But women, all of women's complaint is basically comparison with men,
Man.
which is dumb. You understand? So if you're listening to this, for me, that's just basically the only takeaway. We have acknowledged your rights. You people acknowledge who you are. Also acknowledge who men are. Play your part, and men should also play their part.
I just want to say this. Like, you've heard of like billionaires basically
Yeah.
losing half of their net worth
Thank
basically
you.
because
Thank you
of
so much. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
I forgot to
We
mention that
talk
one.
about the Hakimi situation where his girlfriend or his wife, I don't know, his wife divorced him,
Yeah, his wife.
and then she found out that luckily for him, he's basically his mom. It's basically his whole like assets and everything was in his
Was
mom's
his
name,
mom's name?
so
Yeah.
she couldn't take anything. But we've seen countless of times where women try to take away men's wealth
Wealth. Yeah.
just from their marriage and everything, and because of the laws basically that are put in place for that kind of thing. But then, have you ever seen a woman that was rich and then the husband divorced her and then his assets or her assets were shared?
Assets. Yeah. It was never happened.
It has never happened.
Yeah.
I don't think the law even will allow for you to take a woman's assets from her.
Yeah.
So if those laws are not put in place, why is it that a man assets can be shared with his wife, but the woman's own can't be shared?
And
Like,
the sweetest part, at the end of the day, you never see men come out and
yeah, men don't come
start
out.
a movement and start complaining,
It's
and
just
organizations be formed for men and all
goes
this.
it goes back to the idea of who the men that are be lawmakers, that are made lawmakers. You put this in place,
Yeah.
and I keep on blaming the men. You give the room for things like this to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not saying anything about complaining about it. We just keep on moving every day, but we give room for things like this to happen, right? it might not be any big of a thing of a deal. Women will just brush it over. It's just women making their runs. But it's gets to a point where eventually women will get what they want.
Yeah.
Eventually women will get what they want. And men, it just goes, it's just supposed to be like this recurring cycle where,
Yeah. Women get what they want at the cost of the man.
yeah, and then a man is just basically made to, his rights just basically
Yeah.
him
Stepped
that is stepped
upon,
upon.
infringed,
Then it
and
becomes what the women were fighting for, and we basically fought for women like what it was before, and
yeah.
then eventually we're giving woman rights, right?
Yeah.
But then men have rights, right?
Yeah.
Men have rights. But then it will get to a point where women eventually get what they want. And even with the men's rights, men can't do anything because you have stupid laws like this being made, right? Men don't have rights. And that world will come eventually, and women will keep on telling ourselves, eh, what's there?
Yeah. Like, and I think like maybe I'm not sure, but let's say we might now basically go into the past again,
Exactly.
like where
It should just be reversed
yeah,
then.
it just be reversed. You understand?
Exactly.
Women will now be dominating. One man will not be stepped upon like way too much.
And this time around, it's not going to be like men don't have rights. Men will now still have rights.
They now do have rights.
So men can't really say anything. Like men will not really have a say. Men will not be like, oh, let's put in place this. Oh, let's put in place this for men because it's already there.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Do you know what I get? It's like men and women now have rights, but then it gets to a point where women will now eventually get what they want. This is equal rights and everything, and then women become more superior.
Yeah.
And what we fought for women, that was rights.
Yeah.
Men can't really fight for it because they already have it.
They already have it.
But
Yes.
there were certain things that, like, it's just this idea of we now going back to the past, but men
So
can't
like
really
now,
do
now
anything.
Reversed.
Yeah, and men will not be able to do anything. But we'll just keep on telling ourselves, yeah, we're contempt, we're contempt. Women, right? If you actually understand that you are giving a lot of good qualities, and like you believe that you are giving a lot of good qualities, and you don't think you need, and you think, or you've always the idea of yes, men and women should be equal. Rethink that idea of what you mean by equality, because there's certain things that you can't do that men do better, but there's certain things that you do that men even do better. There might be things that women can do that a man can't do, like basically being, if you're talking about affectionate to a skill, women are more caregivers and multitaskers than men. But then if you're looking at it from the idea of the strengths, like which strength outweigh the other, men strengths outweigh the other, right?
Yeah.
So you can't say this equal something there. It's just fair.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Thank you.
That
was the word, fair.
It's just fair. It's just how it is to create the balance of life, to be able to, for them to be balanced. So one person has to be more than the other, or one person has to be more than in a certain what's it called sector, right? And in this essence, leadership roles, men are just better, naturally better.
Yeah.
So if you're fighting for leadership roles as a woman in a man's world, like they keep on saying it's a man's world, politics is a man's world. If you're fighting for politics in a man's world, you're going to definitely be dominated. It's not a thing of like
of gender or anything.
Yes.
It is just what is.
Yeah, exactly. Simple. And then if a man is fighting for a woman in the world of like in a sector where women are just dominating basically, the man is definitely going to be dominated because you have women dominating that era, because it's just naturally for women. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But
like you know, I was just thinking now, and I think that those times when women's rights were being stepped upon and all those things were happening to women, right? I think they shouldn't have given women more. I think that they should have told men to take a step back, not give women a step forward.
Yes.
Because like I said, it was always balanced. You understand? Let's say maybe there came a time when men maybe they were now trying to like do too much.
Definitely.
Right? What the law should have been put in place to tell the men to step back. If you do this thing, it's wrong.
But not for women to go forward.
Thank you. But then they now put laws that give women more rights, more organizations that are fighting for women's rights. Now, like you now see the thing basically playing out. And the thing about men is that men are expected to be men. You understand? So we're expected not to complain. We're expected to like do that. Everything is okay. While women are now expected to be women. It's like everything is just in their favor. Like basically, like in a world that was already balanced, they now say society was not like society like doing this pure and righteous and all this stupid nonsense. And then they were not like, okay, let's give women more. You shouldn't have given women more.
Yeah.
You should have taken a bit away from men to just basically push back that balance. You understand? So for me, that's just my own, perspective on this men and women shit. I don't ever believe that our gender have been equal. I found maybe I used to, but redefining the thing in my head, I don't think so again. You understand?
Yeah, because to be fair, I love women. Like I to keep on reiterating this thing. Women, I love you guys because it's not that I hate women or I'm a misogynist or something like that. I'm a firm believer that men are just naturally more
Yeah.
superior to women,
Yeah.
right? And then if you feel like it is a bad thing, I don't know why you feel like it's a bad thing. Okay, okay, like, I just let me just use the same football terms. Liverpool Football Club and Everton Football Club both are in Merseyside of London, right? They're in Merseyside of London. Liverpool is the bigger club,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you still have more fans at Everton.
Yeah.
So, so Liverpool is bigger than Everton, but you still have people who love Everton more than Liverpool.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can be bigger than something. It does not necessarily mean that that thing that is more than you is less valuable.
Thank you. I swear you're going. I swear
Do you
you're going.
understand?
Yeah. Yeah. I swear you're going.
So women should not see that men being more superior
It's
makes
an
you
it's an
less.
insult or
Yeah,
yeah, that kind of
makes
thing.
you less. It just basically means okay. It's like I'm the best
Yeah.
today. Like Champions League now. Champions League is the best club, the best club like European football tournament in the world. But
Yeah.
we now have like the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Which is bigger than Champions League.
Champions League, which doesn't necessarily make Champions League
Less
less.
valuable. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
it's just everybody still fights for the Champions League. Everybody still fights for World Cup. But you have the World Cup in like if you're looking at hierarchy, it's just the World Cup is much bigger than the Champions League. But Champions League doesn't lose value. It
It
still
doesn't
has
lose
more value.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand? So women should learn to understand that being you're placed in a position, you just need to love that position, not fight for another position.
Fight for another position.
Do you
Yeah.
understand? That's just basically reality. Reality doesn't make you go against him. Reality makes you understand that where you are finding yourself in is where you are to be. It's like it's just where you are to make good. It's just you have to make good use of where you are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
reality, right? It's where you are. It doesn't make you fight for things that are not real. Things that are not real is not or things that cannot be real and cannot be possible are men becoming like men eventually turning to women. Yes, you might scientifically say that men can turn to women or women can turn to men,
Yeah.
but then they are still women. They are not going to okay if a woman turns to a man her testosterone and whatever doesn't become a man.
Yeah.
She still has the like main features. She's still a man.
Yeah.
Biologically she's still a man. She can't change biology. It's just the way reality is. You can paint it to be black,
Yeah. But behind
but behind
and
the
real.
truth, the
Yeah.
truth is still remains that the car is a white car. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
it's just basically like that. And then the moment you start to accept, oh, I am a white car, things become easier for us. Things become much easier. We live
Yeah.
in a life. We live in a world where stress is becoming less of a thing to worry about. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, women, just like love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Don't,
And then just to point out this one last, like in the name of I don't even know what to call it, but like these days now there are now women that are like doing that. They don't need men. I was watching a podcast. They were like the rate in UK is like alarming because they are doing well. They have business and they don't need men. And even if they want children, they can go to sperm banks and just take anyone and have children. Now I know see how abnormal it sounds. But like when you hear that a woman has children, it sounds very normal. Like it's just that thing. Yeah, it's just that same whole thing of they want more. The role that God that they were kept naturally was in their eye it was, less than enough. So they were not like we want more, we all this thing. But like I think that's basically it for this podcast, right? Whatever ideas or suggestions or questions you have, our comment box is always open. Peace out.